in Sydney and we're travelling to Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia on Air Asia X, the long distance arm of Air Asia, the very successful budget carrier in Asia. In the spirit of budget travel, we're catching public transport to Sydney Airport. The train's a little expensive, I think around 10 or 11 Australian dollars, but it's a pretty good way of getting to the airport. You don't need to buy a ticket or Opal card, you can just tap on and off with a credit card. And as easy as that, we're at Sydney Airport. From here we're going to go up a couple of escalators and straight into the terminal. If it's your first time to Sydney Airport, it's all very clear, well signposted and easy to get around. If you're doing this trip in the opposite direction and arriving in Sydney, it's a little hard to find the entrance to the train platform. Just go all the way to the right, follow it right down to the end, and you'll see the signs. Okay, at the terminal here, unfortunately our check-in is right at the other end of the terminal. Of course, Sydney Airport is not huge by international standards, so it takes about 5 or 6 minutes, I think, to get to the other end of the terminal. Airlines usually stick to the same check-in areas, so if you're taking this Air Asia X flight in the future, you're right down in check-in area K. I mean, it is a fair walk down here, but it's a lot quieter when you get here, so pluses and minuses, of course. I checked in already, so just... this way, thank you. Thank you. There's not a huge queue of people here, and there's another Chinese airline checking in here as well, so maybe we'll be lucky, and the plane won't be too full. Check-in was easy and security was a breeze, so we're through to the airside now with all the shopping that we have at Sydney Airport. I don't think I'll waste my time on anything here. Some magnificent windows here to check out the tarmac and all the planes coming and going. Oh, that's tempting, Papa Ridge. But we're going to Kuala Lumpur, so let's just curb our enthusiasm here.
Kia ora, good morning. This is now a final boarding call for Air New Zealand flight NZ232. Air New Zealand flight NZ232 through to Queenstown. Your service is fully boarded and awaiting immediate departure at gate lounge 26A.
Air Asia, of course, doesn't have a lounge at Sydney Airport, so we're using the priority pass to get into a lounge. And this is a small lounge, but the best thing about it has wonderful views across the tarmac, and the boarding gates is a time-lapse of them loading one of the aircraft. So just 10 minutes there, and then we're down to a ground floor holding pen for, there's about 8 different gates here, and everyone gets packed in and you wait here again for your gate to be called. It's not a great system. Hopefully once we have a new airport this sort of thing will go away. And it looks like we need to catch a bus from here out to our plane. For us aviation geeks, of course, it does provide some nice views of some aircraft. The buses are modern and everything, although it is a shame that they block all the windows out with all the signage. But you can still see some really cool aircraft on the way out. That's 3 Qantas A380s parked in a row. I watched them all come in while I was in the lounge, but they look extra special just all lined up here. we're on an Airbus today as well, but something much smaller, an A330 twin-engine plane. It's unusual to see a United plane out here on the apron as well. Normally that has a jetway from the terminal. But here's our plane, the Air Asia A330. Unfortunately, we'll need to climb the stairs here. So the plane doesn't look too crowded, just the one busload of people. This could be a really nice flight with hardly any passengers, which would be excellent.
Second out on your right, please.
Good morning. Second out to your right.
Hi there. How are you? This way, please. All the way at the back. And then this way. Second out on your left.
So the seat layout is 333, and they look a little close together, but it seems comfortable enough, and the seats are all leather, which look very comfortable.
Trolley bags must be placed in the overhead compartments, and small carry items such as...
It seems a little cramped, but the tray's working and everything seems to be working, which is more than I can say with the Qantas flight I took a few days ago. So from the boarding pass you can see we're flight D7223 in early February 2024. So these A330-300s are configured with 365 economy seats, and I swear there's less than 50 passengers on this plane. This is going to be an excellent flight. I'm pushing back just a couple of minutes late out of Sydney, but on an 8.5 hour flight, nothing to be concerned about. I think most of the delay is just congestion on the runways here at Sydney. Okay, we're ready to go up to Kuala Lumpur from Sydney. nice smooth takeoff out to Botany Bay and then around and flying up to the northwest. Flying over Australia will take another 4.5 to 5 hours, and then we'll cross into the Nusa Tenggara area of Indonesia. Two very different climatic and geographic zones. One, the red desert of Australia, and then the tropical islands of Indonesia. One of the ways these budget airlines make money is by selling food and duty-free on the plane. I pre-ordered a nasi lemak, which, those of you who are familiar, is the national breakfast dish of Malaysia. Doesn't look a whole lot, the curry looks dry and everything, but it's absolutely delicious. And if you're an aficionado of nasi lemak like I am, this is truly welcome. These airlines really do need to compete on the strength of their food offerings, and this is much better than the regular scheduled airlines in my view. This flight was taken around the Chinese Lunar New Year time, and they have all sorts of promotions. And I've chosen a pineapple coconut milk drink. Turned out it was a little bit sweet, but really scrumptious. I'm glad I ordered it. About 3 hours into the flight now, and we're still flying over Australia. It really is a massive country. You can see here how few seats are actually occupied, which is great. But let's check out the bathrooms. Everything's clean, fresh flowers, which is great, and the crew are doing a great job of keeping it clean. Of course, it's pretty easy when you only got 50 passengers, but nevertheless, good work on part of the crew. I don't know how old this plane is, but ashtrays sort of tells me it's a little bit old. So a couple of hours later now, and we're still over Australia. I think this 4.5 hours before we hit the coastline. This really is a glorious day for flying. Wonderful scenery, and we're finally crossing the coast of Australia. Made all the better, of course, because there's only 50 people on the plane. But this is really nice, nice scenery here above the Arafura Sea. It always amazes me that this area of Indonesia doesn't have more of a tourist industry. Yeah, sure, there's Bali, but there's 1,000 other islands here that are just as beautiful. It's getting close to dusk as we approach KLIA. We come down from the north into KLIA and fly down the Straits of Malacca with Sumatra on the right and Peninsular Malaysia on the left until the very last moment, and we come down over the palm plantations. I must say, a very smooth landing here at KLIA. We'll be going into KLIA 2, which is great because it seems to be a little more organised as a terminal than KLIA 1 with its broken train.
Dear guests, we have just landed at Kuala Lumpur International Airport Terminal 2. The local time now is 40 minutes past 5 in the evening with the ground temperature reported 29 degrees Celsius. For your safety, kindly remain seated with your seatbelt fastened until the aircraft has come to a complete stop and the fasten seatbelt sign above you is switched off.
So that concludes one of the nicest flights I've taken in a long, long time. Yeah, sure, it's easier because there's only 50 passengers on the plane, but the staff were pleasant, the plane was comfortable, and the price was only, I think, about $260 one way from Sydney to Kuala Lumpur. So I highly recommend it. Please take a moment to subscribe and hit the notification bell to be notified of any content we make. Thank you.